Hi, this is PR Sundar. Welcome to Post Market Report sponsored by Delta.exchange. Market started with a positive note, then started grinding down slowly. And then in the afternoon, the selling aggravated and then markets went for a free fall. Broader markets came under a severe selling pressure. Look at the small cap index. It has fallen more than 5%. This is on top of 2% fall yesterday and 2% fall day before yesterday. So these 3 days put together, small cap index has fallen nearly 10%. Why? What was the reason? Number one, the SEBI comment about mid cap and small cap, stress test, directive, all those kind of things. The markets did not listen. Then again the SEBI's comment about SME stocks being manipulated. Then markets did react slightly. Then there was supposedly some Hawala operators based out of Dubai. So they've been arrested. The action is being taken. So because these operators suspected to be pumping in large amount of money in a stock market, especially in micro cap and small cap stocks. And then action is also being taken from the funding side, because IIFL Finance was asked to stop, then JM Financial was asked to stop against lending to the lending against the shares. So the SEBI now clearly feels that there's too much froth in the market. So their continuous action one by one, proving fruitful now. Okay, so the markets are started correcting. So I always advise people to buy or to trade in large cap stocks. I never advise, micro cap stocks. The risk is very, very high. Of course, the reward is also very high. Sometimes, it can fall like this, like today, I think many stocks have fallen like 7%, 8%, 10%, So that is the problem. Now, the collateral damage was seen even in the large cap stocks. Otherwise, there was no reason for large cap stocks to fall like this. However, the Bank Nifty supported the market. Surprisingly, in the morning I said, because of this British American Tobacco Company stake sale of 2 billion worth of ITC shares, they were prepared to sell at a 5% discount. It seems that they have sold. So we yet to get the data at what price they have sold. And today morning I said, ITC can contribute about 50 points on the downside, but actually it contributed 50 points on the upper side. So otherwise today Nifty would have fallen even more. Now, why this ITC has gone up? We can give reasons after what has happened, but we don't know before whether this will happen or not. So in fact, this British American Tobacco stake sale was in the news for about last 6 months. And that was the reason why ITC has corrected from 500 to 400. So people have taken this as an opportunity to buy ITC at the lower level. Probably they must have bought more shares from the open market, so to make sure that it does not fall. So that could be one possibility why ITC was up 5-6% at one point of time. Closing basis here has come down a little bit. Looking at the institutional figures, FIIs were net sellers for about 4,500 crores. The domestic institutions net buy about 9,000 crore. So which means that, there's a net positive flow of 4,500 crore. Then why the markets have fallen so much? But this data does not reflect the true picture. So let me tell you, I'm also not very sure. I'm just thinking the British American Tobacco, which has sold 16,000 crores worth of ITC shares. So they do not come under FII or DII. So they might come under FDI, foreign direct investments. So therefore, their selling of 16,000 crore was not reflected under FII or DII. But who bought these 16,000 crores worth of shares? Must be some FIIs and some DIIs. So that buy figure is reflected here. So if you take that 16,000 crore buy figure of ITC, then the net buy is only about 4,500, whereas the ITC buy is about 16,000 crore. So which means that there is a net institutional sell of 11,500 crore. Of course, that kind of money has to be, that kind of amount of shares has to be sold for markets to fall so much. Nifty has fallen more than 500 points from intraday high to low. This is one of the worst fall in 2024. Now, going forward, so what is going to happen? Number one, clearly mid cap, small cap, micro cap stocks may be under some more pressure going forward, the way regulators are taking the action. That's number one. Number two, if you think positively, usually when a bigger sell-off comes, the sell-off will be over in 3 days. The fourth day onwards, there may be some consolidation. Market may not shoot up, but at least it will consolidate. So, small cap indices fell 10% in last 3 days. I think today, probably you can say capitulation in small caps. Most of the stocks have fallen 5% to 10%. So, major selling might be over. So, in 3 days 10% fall. So, probably if everything goes well, if the global cues are good, if things are okay, then from tomorrow onwards, the markets may stabilize. It may not go up, but at least it will start stabilizing. So, that is the general expectation, but we do not know how much leverage is still there in the market, So, all those suspected money, they all will be getting out. So, how much more money is left? That's very difficult to predict. Now, no need to look at the open interest, because markets went for a free fall. There will be definitely unwinding in put options and then aggressive call rating should have happened. So, even 22,000 call has, seen aggressive writing. This is totally disappointing. A 500 point fall in Nifty intraday and Nifty closing below 22,000. So, I told you 22,000 to 22,500. So, that box is broken once again. But although it has broken, it closed very close to 22,000 at the end of the day. So, tomorrow it must quickly recover. It should go above 22,000. But we cannot say anything at this point of time. So, we have to see how the US market pans out today, how tomorrow morning, the people are going to react to these FII numbers, DII numbers, and all those kind of things. And technically, I told you 22,150, when it was crossed, that's how Nifty has become long. But now, the moment that 22,150 was broken on the downside and Nifty fell another 250 points intraday, of course, recovered about 100 points from the day's low. So, clearly now the market is not long, but it is neither short also. So, it can be choppy. I remember, somebody asked me, one of my friends called me, sir, you said Nifty is long, now it has broken 22,150. I still remember the ex-RBI governor, Raghuram Rajan. Everybody expected him to cut the interest rates, but he did not cut. And the markets fell that day. And few days later, not during the RBI policy meeting, after the policy meeting, he suddenly cut the rates. And nobody expected and market shot up. At that time, the reporters asked him, when everybody expected you to cut the rate, you did not cut last week. Now suddenly you are cutting the rate. Then he said, like the reporter seems to have asked, people have positions in stock market. So for that, RBI governor said, don't fight with the central banks. So you cannot fight with the central banks. You cannot fight with the regulators. Now the regulators are going after, people who are pumping in the money in micro cap, small cap and those kind of things, because regulators are clearly feeling that, there's too much of run up in the micro cap stocks. So therefore, technicals will not work in this kind of scenario. So that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you for watching.